Managing the construction of a massive commercial building takes immense coordination. For a firm like BCG Company, tracking the hundreds of contractors, thousands of hours, and millions of dollars usually starts in the most common tool available, a single, giant spreadsheet. In database design, this bottom-up approach of dumping every piece of data, projects, employees, and billing rates, into one massive file is called the unnormalized form, or a universal relation. It feels convenient at first, but it hides a structural sickness. This table shows BCG's actual project tracking data. We can see the project numbers on the left mapped to the employee names in the middle and their billing rates on the right. At a glance, it does the job. But look closer, and the operational flaws begin to surface. The first major flaw here is data inconsistency. Because this is a manual flat file, human error easily creeps in. A database designer might be entered perfectly in one row, but someone might type DBA or elect engineer instead of EE further down. The computer reads those as entirely different jobs. The second, even more dangerous flaw is data redundancy. Notice how Alice K. Johnson's exact profile is duplicated every single time she is assigned to a new project. If Alice gets a raise and her billing rate changes, BCG has to manually hunt down and update every single row she appears in across the entire document. If they miss even one entry, the billing cycle breaks and clients get charged the wrong amount. Relying on these redundant flat file structures guarantees these types of data anomalies will occur. To prevent this, database architects use a specific mathematical process called normalization. Normalization is a systematic process used to evaluate a database and surgically correct its table structures over a series of sequential stages. The first stage is first normal form, or 1NF. The primary rule of 1NF is to eliminate repeating groups. That means a primary key, the unique identifier for a record, should only identify a single unique record. If multiple items are clustered together in one spot, we have to split them out. We have to flatten the entire grid so that every single cell contains only one appropriate data value, ensuring the computer can read each row individually. Getting the data into first normal form is essentially database triage. It gets us a clean baseline to work with, but it doesn't solve the underlying problem of Alice's information being duplicated. That brings us to second normal form, or 2NF. This stage is entirely focused on hunting down what are called partial dependencies. A partial dependency happens when an attribute, like an employee's name, only depends on part of a composite primary key. In our table, Alice's name depends on her employee ID, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the specific project ID she happens to be working on. The solution to a partial dependency is splitting the flawed table apart. We take the dependent attributes and put them into their own distinct table, leaving behind just the linking key in the original spreadsheet. For BCG, this means we physically separate the employee profiles from the project assignments. The project table now just points to an employee ID, rather than carrying all of an employee's personal information. By isolating the data to its specific subject, second normal form ensures we no longer have to type out an employee's full profile every single time they join a new construction project. We are now ready for third normal form, or 3NF, which eliminates the final hidden redundancies known as transitive dependencies. A transitive dependency occurs when a non-key attribute dictates the value of another non-key attribute. For instance, in our employee list, the job class directly determines the hourly rate. If you know the job title, you automatically know the rate. To fix this, third normal form requires us to break the data down one final time, extracting the job class and hourly rate into their own independent lookup table. Operationally, this solves our biggest risk. If the global billing rate for a database designer goes up, the system only needs to update one single cell in the entire database, and the change propagates everywhere instantly. Each table is refined to represent a single focused subject. By removing those transitive links, we've effectively closed the primary loopholes that cause data anomalies in most daily transactional operations. This level of organization represents a high standard for transactional data. Every attribute is exactly where it belongs, tied directly to its primary key. But in a production environment, this structural rigor introduces a logistical trade-off. When BCG Company actually needs to generate a comprehensive billing report, the computer can no longer just read one simple spreadsheet. It has to execute complex operations called joins, stitching all of those highly separated tables back together in real time. The math here is punishing. More tables require more joins, and complex joins demand massive amounts of computing time, which can severely slow down large-scale systems. This brings us to a deliberate technique known as denormalization. This is the conscious act of merging tables back together and intentionally reverting to a lower normal form. A system engineer will look at the separated tables and decide to add redundancy back into the system. By sacrificing a little bit of storage space to store duplicated data, they avoid those processing-heavy joins and drastically speed up how fast the database can retrieve information. Effective database design is a constant balancing act between theoretical correctness and operational efficiency. The best architects don't just blindly follow the rules of normalization, they master them, so they know exactly when and where to break them.